That evening, back in his dorm, he inspects his prizes. 10 mana stones, each faintly glowing. A pang of uncertainty creeps in. Can his body handle this much mana at once without damage? After a moment of hesitation, he decides to trust in the overvain training he's been enduring. Without further thought, he tosses all 10 stones into his mouth and chews them down. For a moment, nothing. Then the mana bursts forth, flooding his body, bathing the room in blinding light. His skin feels aflame. Fighting through the pain, he guides the raging mana into his veins, shaping a path toward his heart. This time, instead of letting it settle, he coils the mana around his heart, carefully forming a second circle beside the first. If he fails, his heart could stop, but retreat isn't an option. As the final line connects, his veins greedily draw in the mana. He holds on, refusing to give up. Becoming a world-class mage depends on this. A beam of light erupts from his window, as if he's exploding from within. Moments later, he wakes sprawled on the floor, breathing, alive, and victorious. The second circle is complete. The system congratulates him. Mission complete. His understanding of elemental attributes has soared, boosting the power of each spell he can cast. The next morning, Professor Hubert sifts through Russell's reports, his eyes widening. You completed all of this in such a short time. Incredible. But before granting library access, the professor poses one final question. Of the 4 fundamental structures of magic, which is the most important? Russell freezes. The question is deceptively simple, yet profound. Hubert, sensing he may have asked too much, begins to retract it. But Russell interrupts, voice steady. It's the mental image of the caster. The professor falls silent, genuinely impressed. Professor Hubert pauses, weighing Russell's answer. Finally, he asks, and why do you believe that is so? Russell takes a moment, choosing his words carefully. Magic is the act of bringing something into reality using mana, he begins. The world breaks that process into 4 stages. Assimilation, learning the principles that govern natural phenomena. Mental image, visualizing what you've learned in your mind. Construction, shaping formulas to manifest that image. Manifestation, bringing the magic into the real world through those formulas. He continues, construction and manifestation can be mastered with study and practice. But mental imagery, that's different. It isn't just about effort. It's about breaking free from your limits, reaching true freedom of imagination through courage. Russell lifts his hand, a flame flickering to life above his palm. For example, he says, I can imagine this flame as an arrow. The image becomes reality. Before the professor's eyes, the fire twists into the sharp form of a blazing arrow. Or, Russell adds, I could imagine something else entirely. This flame will obey my mind and change its nature. There's no need to be bound by what already exists. With the right vision, I can create something the world has never seen. Professor Hubert watches closely, nodding in approval as Russell extinguishes the fire. It all starts, Russell concludes, with understanding how the world works, and then bending those rules to create something beautiful. For a long moment, Hubert studies the young man before him. Then a smile spreads across his face. I've confirmed my suspicions, he says. The student library is far too small a world for you. The system chimes in Russell's mind, mission complete. Entry to the first floor of the professor's library granted. Reward, 2 low-grade mana stones. Later that day, Russell steps into the library. Even the first floor feels vast compared to the cramped student library. Shelves stretch in every direction, filled with volumes far more practical than the ones he's used to. He wastes no time, pulling down a small stack of books and settling into a seat. The text is dense but invaluable, techniques, insights, and theories he's never had access to before. As he reads, the quiet is broken by the soft creak of the library door. A woman steps inside, her gaze settling on him from across the room. She finally calls out to get his attention, remarking that he's reading quite an interesting book. Russell, startled by the sudden voice, realizes he's not alone. He quickly drops the book and spins around, only to see no one there. Confused, he notices movement ahead, and there she is, now standing right in front of him. The woman, dressed in the robes of a mage, gives him a knowing smile. Russell instantly recognizes her. Daria Snow White, the legendary master of the Flame Tower. He quickly bows and introduces himself, but can't help feeling tense in her presence. After all, Daria is an 8th Circle mage, an achievement only a handful in the world have reached. Despite being over 80 years old, she radiates youthful beauty, a testament to her immense mana reserves. She is the leader of the most prestigious magic tower in the Red Tower faction. Daria is amused that he knows who she is. With a flick of her wrist, she produces a large lollipop from seemingly nowhere, placing it casually in her mouth as she tells him there's no need to be nervous. She glances around the room and asks how a student like him managed to get into the professor's library. Russell explains that Professor Hubert granted him access. Daria raises an eyebrow, softly exclaiming in surprise. An uptight man like Hubert allowing this? Russell smirks a little, knowing that she's not entirely wrong about the professor's personality. She remarks that it makes sense now, and that it explains why he was reading something quite interesting when she arrived. Her eyes scan him closely. She notices his mana is unusually pure and perfectly balanced, something she rarely sees. Passing by him, she tells him not to worry. She isn't here to lecture him or get in his way. Russell bows again, thanking her for her kindness. Without warning, Daria strikes the ground with her staff. A bright light bursts forth. She tells him to grow into the best version of himself. When Russell looks up, she's gone. Vanished in an instant. Only the fading glow remains, marking the spot where she had stood. Still in awe, Russell exits the professor's library and quietly shuts the door behind him. Lost in thought over the encounter, he's snapped back to reality by a mocking voice from behind. It's Anton and his gang. One of Anton's friends questions why Russell is coming out of the professor's library, scoffing at who he thinks he is. Anton sneers, suggesting Russell must have kissed up to some professor, but that it won't change the fact he's worthless. As they leave, Anton mockingly tells him to keep trying, before adding that it won't help anyway. Not long after, the students gather in the Academy Stadium for real situation magic battle studies. The first student called gets to choose their opponent, usually the weakest student, so that they can pick someone of similar skill to fight. All eyes immediately turn to Russell. In his past life, he was always the first to be called. Whispers ripple through the crowd. Some boys joke that he'll be picked again because of his condition, monovein narrowing. Others begin pleading for him to choose them if he's called, hoping for an easy win to boost their grades. The commotion grows until the professor demands silence before announcing the first name. Everyone expects to hear Russell's name, but instead, the professor calls out, "Anton Frederick." The crowd is stunned. "Why Anton?" Anton struts forward, thanking the professor. The professor dryly replies that this is nothing compared to the favors he receives from the Frederick Merchant Association. Russell, watching from the stands, isn't surprised. He'd been expecting this. Anton reaches the center of the field, scans the students, and locks eyes with Russell. "You," Anton says with a smirk, "get down here." Meanwhile, back in the professor's office, Professor Hubert receives an unexpected visitor, his own teacher, prompting him to remark that it would have been nice if she had warned him before showing up. And that's where our video ends. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and leave a comment down below. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're updated on our next content. Until the next video, take care always.